Since I need a visa every time I need to come into this country and prove that I am going to leave, I doubt I'm within my rights to identify as European. So, no. I think it's a constant suspicion that's imposed on me every time I go to a European High Commission to apply for a visa. I have to show evidence of funds, I have to show I will be going back, I have to give return tickets, get all sorts of insurance, just to visit any EU member state for even 2 or 3 days, whether it's for holiday or whether it's for work. So it's really hard to identify, even though I now increasingly identify as part of me as being British, and that's where I've spent most of my adult life. But I still have a very different relationship with Europe. Actually, I had very few views of Europe when I was young. My formative moment was when I first came to Britain, and I was speaking with my classmates and just discussing how hard it was to get the visa to come study in Britain. And then I heard that they didn't have to go through that at all, and I figured out there was free movement. For me, that was astounding. I couldn't even imagine that you could cross into a different country without having to get a visa. And my first reaction was, this is really unfair. Why do I have to go through this when you don't? But as Brexit happened, and as I'd spent more time in the country, that attitude of this being unfair grew into an attitude of solidarity. The idea that my European friends and colleagues shouldn't have to go through what I have to go through. So I think coming to Britain for the first time, seeing what freedom of movement meant, and then seeing it jeopardized during Brexit, these were two formative moments for me when it comes to the EU. The refugee crisis, I think it exposed a certain moral poverty within the EU project. For all its defense of freedom of movement, it utterly failed people who were in dire need. And at the end of it, I think EU faces an option when it's responding to such demands from outsiders. Either it openly comes out as an interest group for Europeans, or it establishes itself as a leader, or at least a voice in freedom of movement and peace. And I think, unfortunately, in that case, most EU states were leaning towards the former. Hard for me to say, because apparently I came to Europe, to Britain, after much of the good stuff had already taken place. I unfortunately arrived at a moment when the bad was starting to take over. I would again say freedom of movement, perhaps, because that was a real opportunity to show the fragility of borders, that borders don't need to exist, that we can flourish when people can move freely across their national boundaries. But again, that was, in my mind, a lost opportunity rather than an unmixed good. Made me financially worse off, made me apply for several visas, which have been expensive, they have been time consuming. I lose on average 2 to 3 days every time I need to travel into a Schengen zone. Being pessimistic, on the positive, it's given me fascinating European colleagues who may not have been in Britain but for their ability to work there freely. It's given me amazing healthcare from the NHS, which is staffed by so many European workers who are invested in giving us healthcare. So it's done a lot of negative for me personally, but at the same time, for Britain as a whole, and for me as someone who relies on the National Health Service, it's also done a lot of good. So a couple of things that immediately come to mind. Integrating a human rights approach with its defense and trade alliances. I don't think that Europe can, the European Union can continue to present itself within Europe as a defender of human rights while throwing the rights of those outside under the bus for the sake of the economic or military interests of its member states.